Quick video on how to change the rear end fluid on just about any Case Ingersoll Garden tractor or loader. 200, 400 series, 3000, 4000 series, the 600, 6000, and 7000 loader series are all going to be basically the same. Might be a couple little differences you'll notice between yours and this, but the principles are the same. Absolutely disregard this hydraulic filter. We just purchased this tractor. It is not the correct filter for there. Somebody put in a small engine oil filter on there, and that is not it, so just disregard it. It's in the frame. And now we're going to show you the quick and easy process. There's not any videos on this, and we get this question all the time, and it's really a super simple process, but hopefully this helps everybody figure it out and know what to put in.
So you'll see on your rear end, you'll have, we already took a plug out. Actually, we were partway through doing this when we realized a video would be helpful with the tire off. So you'll have 2 square plugs or 1 square plug, and if you pull that plug, the bottom one, it'll drain everything that's in the rear end. Typically when the tire's on, it's actually pretty easy to get to from the back. You can go either way, but that's just kind of our quick tip. Reach in from behind and pull that square plug out. And then in the rear, there's another plug down here lower. Pull that out because that'll help it drain fast. Around, and you're going to put that bottom plug back in. There are 2 different style plugs, so the 7/16 doesn't work for everything, but that's what this one happens to be. These square sockets really make it a lot easier. Just snug that up. Like I said, the square socket is definitely handy to get in there.
The Sonex impact socket, that one's a 7/16.
All right. And then if you take this bolt out from the rear panel, the 3/4 socket, the extensions definitely makes life a little easier too. So we pull this out because if you can see, this actually goes straight into the rear end. One thing to be a little mindful of, this one's not too bad, but some of them will have quite a bit of buildup in there from just the use and the wear over the years. So just be careful you're not shoving dirt into your rear end when you do this. So use a small funnel is what we found works well because that gets you directly down in there. And then use a bigger funnel. It takes a little bit of time. You got to be patient, but it's way better than trying to fill through that back rear hole. So right now we still have that rear plug out in the back. Gravity is definitely our friend to get the oil in there, but that's letting some of the air out, and we're actually going to fill it until the oil starts to show coming out of that hole. A lot of people ask how much they should be putting in. We recommend 3 quarts. So when you start seeing it come back out of that rear plug, you definitely have enough in there, and it's got some room to expand still. So we're going to keep filling this until it's full.
Some of your manuals might say one quart, some might say a couple pints. They changed it over the years. It's the same rear end, and the loaders use the same rear end, especially this webbed, heavy web on this one. But the rear end casings themselves are the same, and we figured if they recommended 3 quarts for the loaders that are under heavy work, and 3 quarts is probably what we should do in the garden tractors. It's a cheap extra investment. It helps keep the corrosion out of there a little bit more, keeps things coated more, especially these things don't get hot in the rear very much. And if they're sitting around a long time, they're going to pick up corrosion. And so the more oil you got in there, the cooler things are going to be, the less contaminants and more dilution you're going to have of contamination, and they'll be cooler. So that's why I recommend that. And then as far as type of oil, you can use 1540 motor oil, the same thing you're using in your hydraulics and your engines, a lot of you guys. That's fine. You can use 2050 motor oil. That's absolutely fine too. And basically any gear oil is fine. You can use any 70, 80, 90 weight gear oil. Even a 140 if somebody want to run a synthetic, you know, 79, 140 or whatever it is. That's fine too. Everybody asks, I guess, if we have a preference. Most times when we tell them they can run anything, gear oil is probably my preference. It takes a little bit longer in the winter time to warm up and flow easy. And a little more stress on your system to push through the gear oil when it's cold. But once it's warm, it does a little bit better than the motor oil. But actually, the viscosity is really kind of similar between them all. It's the way they're measured in temperature, to be honest with you. So a 50 weight and a 80 weight gear oil are really not all that different viscosity-wise on a test. So just something to keep in mind. It's kind of the same deal with hydraulics. It's a temperature that these oils are tested at. So each class kind of is tested at its own temperature. And an engine oil and a hydraulic oil and a a gear oil, all if they're rated at 50 weight, they're actually all a little different viscosity just because of the testing procedure. There's more to that than I'm going to explain here. And so when someone says, oh, well, this is only 10 weight and you know, this is only 30 weight, and they're completely different classes of oil, it's apples and oranges. But either way, as long as you got something in there, they're low speed, they're really low load, and they just need to be covered and coated to keep some lubrication in there, and keep the friction down and keep the oil clean and the moisture off it, and something on the between the gear teeth for impact and load. That's all. So don't stress too much if you don't have the right oil. Like I said, your engine oil or hydraulic oil is fine if you don't have gear oil. Once this is full, and you'll see it coming out the back, cap that plug off. When it starts to drip out the back there, make sure you put this bolt back in nice and tight where we're filling.
Pretty quick, simple. So hopefully it helps you out. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check out our new website, CaseIngersollTractors.com. And thanks for watching.